All right, everyone. I had the S25 Ultra, but the ZFold 6 is back. So let me just take this out the box. So I actually switched back to the ZFold 6 as my main device, my main daily driver. And, I've been using the S25 Ultra for about a month. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience with the S25 Ultra and why I switched back to the ZFold 6 and, how the two experiences compare. So let's actually get into it. So the S25 Ultra was an amazing phone. I think it was probably the best Samsung phone I've experienced in the last 5 years in terms of just the sheer power, the stability of when you're playing games and stuff like that. Video editing was as good as it can get on Android, and the smoothness of the software, the build quality, that was probably one of my favorite things too. Just the design overall, I feel like the design looked really good and it was nice in the hands. It just felt very reliable and sturdy, and I could trust this phone to drop on the ground and not get destroyed. Yeah, so it was just a really good experience overall. The S Pen was decent. It doesn't have Bluetooth capability, but it was still the S Pen, which is still very useful, at least for me. But I was missing having a foldable phone. So if you're not familiar or you haven't seen the video on my channel, you can check it out right here. My ZFold 6 was actually stolen. So since then, I didn't have a foldable phone. I was using regular slap phones and stuff like that for the past 3 or 4 months. I was kind of missing having a foldable phone, and specifically the ZFold 6, especially this form factor. That was partly why I came back to it. And having the S25 Ultra, I feel like the bar was kind of high in terms of the general experience. And so I have some thoughts coming back to the ZFold 6, which is an older device than the S25 Ultra. Has been out for 6 months now versus the S25 Ultra being out for a month now. One, I love the ZFold 6's form factor, the huge inner display, but then you still have the two orientations. You still have landscape and you still have portrait mode. And then two, I love the outside screen. The one hand usage is just unbeatable with this form factor. It's just so nice to use with one hand, very easy to navigate, very easy to do anything really, even multitask. As you can see, quick split screen setup right there, very quickly with the edge panel. I still have my same gestures, and even Good Lock has a little bit more on the ZFold 6 right now because Home Up is not available on the S25 Ultra yet on One UI 7. So software experience, the form factor is amazing on the ZFold 6. But there are some things that I actually miss from the S25 Ultra that I appreciated. I guess I didn't take in how much I appreciated them until I switched back to this. And some of those things are the screen on the S25 Ultra is just a better screen than both the outer display and the inner display of the ZFold 6. Objectively, specs wise, it's just a higher resolution screen. And then it's anti-reflective, and just talking about the anti-reflection, I don't know if you can tell, but the inner display of the ZFold 6 is very reflective. Lights, you can see it's like a mirror basically. You can see very clearly what's going on the other side of the ZFold 6 inner display. So very reflective. And I feel like it doesn't get as bright as the S25 Ultra screen. Yeah, so the screen's experience, although I love the form factor and the sizes of both of the screens, it's definitely not as good as the S25 Ultra. So I do miss that anti-reflective screen and just the solid experience overall. And then one thing I actually miss is not that the outer display on this is bad at all. I think it's a good display, like I said, one-handable and stuff like that. But I do miss the stability of the size of the S25 Ultra screen, because a lot of apps are not made for this screen and a lot of apps are not made for this screen. And particularly one area is gaming. And a lot of people say oh, ZFold 6, get a foldable for gaming because the big screen and stuff like that. But to be honest, I kind of disagree with that, because games just don't fit this aspect ratio well. Unless you're emulating older games that use a 4:4 aspect ratio or 4:3 or whatever, then they will look amazing on this screen because it's almost a square or closer to a square than a normal screen. But actual Android games, most of them don't fit this screen well. And even if they fill up the whole screen and it looks nice, the graphics might look nice on the screen, the camera and what you see on the screen is not as much as a normal phone. So for example, a game like Wild Rift, I'll actually show you in real time. This is something that kind of makes me miss the S25 Ultra a lot. And I'm also going to talk about something else, the performance as well. But for the screens, if I go into Wild Rift, so right now I have it set to 16:9. All right, so this is how the game looks when you're in 16:9. And it's a decent experience. It's pretty close to what you get on a normal phone, but it's still a little bit zoomed in compared to those other phones and even the other display. So let me go all the way right here. I'm going to go to the outer display so you can see the difference, but you can see this edge of this tree right here, and then up until like right here, this blue spot of the Nexus. So if I go to the outer display, you could just see so much more on the sides, and you might think like that doesn't really matter. You also look at how zoomed out the camera is on this smaller display because of how narrow it is. You see so much more. So like low-key, the most optimal experience for playing games like Wild Rift is playing on the outer display. Even though it is a smaller display, the aspect ratio just works so much better for these kind of games because you see more of what's going on around you. And like a game like Wild Rift, you need to be aware of your surroundings a lot. You have to watch the map, and you also have to watch, you know, what's above you, what's below you, what's around you, and stuff like that. So going back to the 16:9 aspect ratio, you can see what it looks like. And if I expand the game to full screen, you're going to see it cuts off so much of the game. All right, so now this is full screen. And as you can see, it looks nice. Like the graphics are good. The 3D models look nice on this big, beautiful display. But look at how zoomed in the camera is. Like if I show you my attack range, this is my auto attack range. If you are familiar with this game, you know what an auto attack is. Like you basically can only see like this much outside of your auto attack range, and that's not good for laning. So if you're playing against somebody in your lane, especially somebody who has a long range, and they might even have a longer range than you, you're at a serious disadvantage because you can't see their skills coming. You can only see when they are in this little pocket of the screen. So you kind of essentially have to fight up close most times when you're on this big screen if you want to like trade with people, or like trade is in like you throw your attacks and dodge their attacks type of thing. You have to fight very close to actually effectively do that. So the field of view is not good, to be honest. Like it's really bad. Look at how close I have to be to Garen, like just outside of my attack range. Whereas on the outside screen, I'll show you once again. Look at how far you can see. It might not look like a big difference, but trust me, it makes a huge, huge difference to see that extra distance between you and the other person or the enemies. And then I can also see the bush right here, bush down there. I can see a little bit into my jungle over here. But again, looking at the inside screen, you can only see the tip of the bush right here. You can only see the rock. You can't even see the bush down here. So like, let's say you didn't see the map and then somebody's coming to jump you. You can't even see them coming through the bush. And then also over here, I can't see my jungle at all. So like the field of view, hopefully this makes sense, but the field of view is really bad in a lot of games. Even like games like Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, like people play those games and they say it's good on the Fold devices, the Fold 6 and stuff, but like you're missing out on so much information in those games, like especially a game like COD where you need to see where your enemies are. Playing in full screen, it's just so boxed in, you can't see like if somebody's like right beside you in some cases. So yeah, it looks nice, but it's not practical in terms of the optimization of these games. If this game allowed you to zoom out the camera a little bit, that I would have no issue with playing on this big screen. And one of the main workarounds that I've been doing since the Fold 3, unfortunately this hasn't changed since then, is playing in split screen. So if I just open up a split screen session, now I get a way more normal aspect ratio in this game, and I can see so much more. For ergonomics, I can play like this, lower it a bit, and boom. Now I have a pretty good aspect ratio, and I can play the game more comfortably in terms of like what I see on the screen and just the experience overall. But this brings me to the other topic of what I missed from the S25 Ultra, and that's the performance. So the ZFold 6, it's not a slouch. Obviously, it's a flagship device from last year. Has the 8 Gen 3 chip inside of it for Galaxy. It's a fast processor, fast device overall. But when it comes to like gaming, for some reason, Wild Rift causes this phone to throttle. And I think that's been happening to the S24 Ultras as well. The S24s in general, just the 8 Gen 3. For some reason, the game is just not as optimized as it could be. And so it's been causing, you know, other high-end phones to throttle and drop the FPS, especially the ZFold 6. I feel like it drops the FPS faster than other phones. So, you know, instead of having 120 FPS like it shows right here, it goes down to 60 FPS. And this happens after like 2 or 3 minutes of playing this game, especially in split screen sessions. So if you want to play properly on the big display, then you have to play in split screen. Otherwise, you can do the 16:9 setup. But I feel like personally, I don't see enough with the 16:9 setup, so I don't really like doing that too much. But if you play with just one app, just the game itself, and no other apps on the screen, no split screen, then it will perform a little bit better, but it will still thermal throttle after a while. So the performance is something that I miss from the S25 Ultra because, like I said, no matter what I played on it, no matter what I did on that phone, it just worked. I had no issues with like performance or anything like that. the S25 Ultra was just a beast. So I do miss that reliability and stability and just the normal compatibility with apps. Like apps are made for that kind of phone. Apps are not made for this kind of phone with this screen or this external screen right here. Apps are not made for them. So yeah, mainly the main things I miss from the S25 Ultra are the screen, how it looks, the build quality and feel, and then also the app optimization and aspect ratio of the main screen. Like it's not as big as the screen, but the S25 Ultra is definitely capable of getting multitasking done. It's not, you're not gonna be able to do triple split screen, but you can have more than 3 apps on the S25 Ultra screen with floating windows and split screen, and you can still get a lot of work done, but it's not going to be as comfortable as the Z Fold 6. Whereas with the Z Fold 6, amazing at multitasking, but then the gaming experience is not that good. Just in general, the performance, like if you're video editing, you're going to have less stability. It's going to start to thermal throttle and lag and stutter and stuff like that way faster than the S25 Ultra. Yeah, the S25 Ultra is just good all around device. Like it's just very stable, very solid. Like you know what to expect from it. It's just going to work most times. I don't miss the cameras that much, but the cameras were really nice on the S25 Ultra. So going back to the Z Fold 6 cameras, though the main things I miss are like the depth of the images, not necessarily like the quality. The Fold 6 images are pretty good quality, but the depth of the images, like the different tones of the colors and the darkness, the shadows, the bokeh, natural bokeh, these are smaller sensors, so it's not going to have as much bokeh. And bokeh is like, you know, when something is closer to the camera, how does the background look in terms of the blur, you know? The S25 Ultra just has better bokeh and better cameras overall. The S25 Ultra has a 50 megapixel ultra wide camera now, 50 megapixel 5x telephoto. Going back to, you know, this normal 12 megapixel ultra wide and the 10 megapixel 3x telephoto camera. They're not bad cameras at all. They definitely are serviceable. They work. They can produce good results in decent lighting, but you can definitely feel the fall off when it comes to those other cameras. The main camera, it can go bar for bar with the S25 Ultra and other phones. It can hold up well, especially if you know what you're doing in terms of like the manual controls and stuff. But the other cameras, they definitely have a lower ceiling than other phones. So you feel that for sure. But for somebody who's getting a device like this, cameras are not your main thing. It is just something that you're going to notice if you go back from the 25 Ultra to the Z Fold 6. Battery life on the S25 Ultra is better, but it's not like something that is hugely different. I feel like it's pretty comparable, maybe like an hour better on the S25 Ultra in terms of screen on time. One thing that I do kind of miss a little bit more is the 45 watt charging speeds. It's not a huge difference, but it is enough to, like, you know, if I plug in my phone, how much am I going to get in 30 minutes? The S25 Ultra will get significantly more than the Z Fold 6 in 30 minutes. So that is something else to note. But other than that, you know, having a big screen for multitasking has been amazing. I've been doing stuff like this. Like I have these Amazon shopping lists that I'm putting together, and my links will be in the description of this video. And like I can have my notes right here for different links that I want to open up into Amazon. Highlight this link right here, open it up. It opens in the Amazon app, and then I can go down and add it to one of my shopping lists. So that has been cool, multitasking in that way. And then up here I can have, you know, Google search to find more products and stuff like that. Multitasking has been amazing for these kind of use cases, but you know, finances, even playing games while doing other things like scrolling Reddit and YouTube, messaging people while doing other things, or if somebody's asking me to do something, I can talk to them while I'm doing that thing, and just different things like that. It has been amazing. One thing specifically that I really love about the Hinge is the flex mode panel, and especially in Crunchyroll. So Crunchyroll is an app that doesn't have, you know, that flex mode. It's not a native thing like how YouTube has its own flex mode that you can find on any foldable device. But Samsung has something called a flex mode panel. You can set it to open automatically with any app, or it will show up as a little icon. You can tap it. So like Crunchyroll, if I'm watching the anime and then I rotate my phone, put it into flex mode, now I have the media controls at the bottom screen. That right there is very useful to me because now I can control this, the timeline where I am in the show or the episode very easily. I can skip forward, I can pause, skip by 10 or reverse by 10, things like that. Just a really good experience overall. So let's say I'm, you know, watching something on my phone, I can quickly bend my phone hinge, put it down on the table, and continue doing what I'm doing while I'm listening to my earphones. And then I can, you know, if I need to skip ahead, I can do that. If I need to reverse because I missed something, I can do that very quickly because of this bottom screen right here. It has different things. Like you can adjust the volume, you can bring down your notification shade, you can adjust the screen brightness. There's a little touchpad. So like if you're in the browser or something like that, you can use the touchpad to scroll and tap. It has like a mini cursor, and then you can quickly enter into split screen with another app. So the flex mode panel is definitely really nice. and I enjoy it. It's not a perfect experience. Definitely miss the S25 Ultra in different ways. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on what you think about the Z Fold 6 versus the S25 Ultra and how they stack up against each other. And also which one you prefer. Do you prefer the Ultra slab phone, or do you prefer the best foldable phone you can get right now, in my opinion? But yeah, that's it for now. We out. Peace.